Greetings. I am Dr. Shenetha Ramsey with Gifted to Inspire LLC. I am excited to share with you that I am a self-publishing author. Yes, I am a self-publishing author, and today I am going to share with you how to become a self-published author. And I want to tell you the title of this webinar today. This webinar is titled, Here is the Scoop on Self-Publishing. This is a webinar, and I'm thankful that you have decided to join me today. First of all, I want to say that I started writing about 2014, 15, around that time. And I want to share with you that it's very rewarding to become a self-published author. It really is. It's very rewarding. And I'm not just saying it because I do it, not because I write from time to time, pretty much frequent as I can. But I'm telling you the truth. Once you prepare a book, once you have started your book project, it is very, 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 very imperative that you get that book project complete in a timely manner. I must say that it didn't take me very long to start writing. It did not take me very long to get started and to finish my book projects. I'm not done writing. I'm not done writing book projects. I have many more to come. I plan to write more. Trust me, I will write more. And I want to share with you that you will be excited when you start getting your books planned together. And once you have decided to execute and self-publish your works. I want to give you a brief description of who I am. I'm Dr. Shenetha Ramsey, and I am a native of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I must say that I'm excited to be here today with you and to share the excitement of becoming a self-published author. I must tell you that I have a background in human services. Yes, I have a doctorate in human services, and I have 2 certifications in life coaching. I have a certification in life coaching, and my second life coach certification is in evidence-based coaching. Yes, I am a certified life coach, and I am a professional human services worker. But back to the self-publishing process. I wanted to tell you this here. You will make it through the process. So in this webinar, I want to share with you before I get started with the whole webinar, this whole complete webinar today. I want to share with you. I will, you will, we will. I will, you will, we will. I will teach you how to self-publish your works and share the significance of becoming a self-published author. I will also introduce 8 steps to overcome writer's block. You will learn how to self-publish your works and or project in reasonable time frame. We will become familiar with some self-publishing tools. So we will pretty much discuss the self-publishing tools, and you will also learn a lot from this webinar. I must tell you, you will learn a lot from it. So together, we're going to work together on this. We're a team. So I want to make sure that you get what you need from me. Okay? All right. Becoming an author is the first thing you have to do is publish your why. Publish your why. Becoming an author is exciting and should be purposeful. It reflects you as a person, and it reflects to the world of your why. Fiction or non-fiction books may be different because of the imagination of the world. So pretty much when I say that, non-fiction is real life situations, a person's life story, or something that's happened in real life. Fiction is something that does not happen in real life. Meaning it cannot happen in real life, and it's not real. It did not happen. Traditional publishing versus self-publishing. I'm going to go over this briefly because many people don't know the difference between traditional publishing versus the self-publishing. Traditional publishing is a type of publishing which offers the author a contract and in turn sells your book through booksellers and retailers. A traditional book publishing company buys the rights in the author's manuscript. Buying rights from the authors is how book publishers have traditionally acquired books, according to Infinity Publishing 2018. Self-publishing, on the other hand, self-publishing is essential because you as the author have total ownership of manuscript or book. It is a booming type of publishing. Self-publishing gives the writer the opportunity to market their book the way they want to. The author book sales usually increase with self-publishing versus traditional publishing, according to an Entrepreneur Magazine 2012. So I'm going to tell you this here. It's your choice to do the traditional or the self-publishing option. But at the same time, I just explained it to you, the between the two. Traditional publishing is still an option, but nowadays many people are self-publishing, and I do believe now, by me being a self-published author of 10 books at this moment, I've written 10 books so far since 2017, December 17. Since December 2017, I have self-published 10 books, and I'm gonna say this here. I chose the self-publishing route because I think it's my personal opinion. It's quicker. I'm not saying you cannot get results, quick, rapid results with traditional, but when you think about the difference between the two, traditional publishing, it may take a little bit longer because the publishing company has to critique it. Not that you don't have to go through a process with the self-publishing option, but it's a different type of process. Many people don't want to have to write and wait for so long. And it's their choice. I'm not saying it's a bad route to go, but I'm saying this here. If you would like to own your book, own your rights to your book, own full rights of your book, then self-publishing is the way to go. But I can't tell you which way to go. It's your decision, your choice. But either way, it's your work. It's your work and you've written it. But the only thing about traditional publishing is that you have to go through their process. And the way they provide the process is how they do it. Self-publishing, you have an idea, you prepare your work, and once you self-publish that book, that's your 100% full rights to that copy. And not just that, you also have the opportunity to buy as many as you want to buy, and plus sell as many as you want to sell. It's your choice. So you have flexibility in the sense for self-publishing, but it's your choice. Getting organized. I'm going to share with you about getting organized. Getting organized is very, very important. When you becoming a self-publishing author, you have to be organized. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes it can have its moments. I'm not going to say it's all easy and fun and dangerous. I'm not going to say it's easy. But it is fun. Don't get me wrong. It could be fun. But at the same time, make sure that you have everything planned. And make sure if you have to use a calendar, if you have to use your phone to remind you to do things, use alarms, it's your choice. But I recommend personally to make sure you set a goal. Set a goal. Don't just say, I'm going to write this book, just start writing it and then stop. Completely stop. Sometimes you have to stop. Don't get me wrong. You have to take a break sometime. I'm not going to say a person can't stop for a little while and go back. There's nothing wrong with it. But I do recommend that you have a start date and you have a end date. That's very, very important. You have to have that, because if you don't have that, you might not be as successful as you would like to be in a timely manner. So make sure you hold yourself accountable of that. But back to what I'm about to say about getting organized. It is important to write consistently to complete your project. If not, you will delay your project and will not be satisfied with your planned publishing date. I just said that a few minutes ago briefly. in a different way, but I just said it. Make sure you have a date in mind. Don't wait, and don't wait too long. Because if you have an idea in your head to get started and to move forward with your project, I recommend that you write down your title. In matter of fact, the title is not the most important. It's important, but in the very beginning, you can come up with the title at the end. The very beginning is the outline, in my personal opinion. Everybody have different ways of writing their book, but I want to tell you what I think is good to do. Outline. Have your chapters written first. Have your chapter headings, I should say, written first. If you go through each chapter, have it planned out what you want each chapter to entail, what the topic is going to be, and follow through. That makes it easy for you to narrow down the title of your book. That's what I believe. Now, it may work for you. I believe it could, but I know it helps me. I recommend it to people that would like to write a book. Second tip for getting organized. Remember, your why is important, and the world is waiting to hear about it. Yes, it is very important. Remember, your why is important. Make sure when you have your book planned out, and then when you self-publish your works, and you know for yourself that you have took your time, you have put your hours, your time and everything into this book. And once you have self-published, this book is complete, finally complete. Make sure that you are proud of your work. Make sure that you feel proud. You should be proud of it because you put the time and effort into the project. And nobody cannot tell your book but you, because that's your book. You wrote that book. Okay, and I want to say last and third final tip for getting organized is remember, failure is not permanent. Failure is not permanent unless you believe it is. So I'm saying this because many people get discouraged. They get frustrated with the book writing process. Many people they feel like, well, you know what? I've been writing this book for so long, but I can't get my words out. I can't get these things together. Sometimes it may be a little frustrating. I'm gonna be honest, but for me, I believe the best way to do that is plan, and think positive throughout the process. Don't just say, "Well, I wrote this book and I haven't published it yet. It may not ever get published." No, don't think that way, because actually, when you think that way, it may not happen. So think positive. I believe you can do it. I believe you can make it through the process while getting organized. And once you start getting organized, you go ahead and move forward executing your project. Next thing I want to share with you is organizing your ideas. Organizing your ideas. Getting organized is the first step. Without organizing dreams, goals, and developing a clear plan, you may fail. Organizing your ideas helps to focus and arrange categories. Write a topic sentence, one that states the single organizing principle, SOP, single organizing principle, with or without using words like categories, groups, kinds, types, sorts, varieties, classes, and divisions. Brennan, 2009. For example, you will group and organize your ideas according to purpose or class. An example, categorizing movies, action, adventure, romantic, comedies, western, and musicals. These are some examples. These are some of the examples you may consider. You may consider writing a book to pertain to action, adventure, romantic comedies, western, and musicals. It's helping you to determine which type of book you would like to write, which genre I should say, or which focus you would like to focus on. For overall organization, you may choose space, time, or importance. Space pertains to requiring physical grouping of objects, books in the library. Time, for a topic using brief stories to group stages of your life. Importance, for a topic using groups that are clearly less and or dramatic, dangerous weather, thunderstorm, blizzard, tornado. Let's give an example. What I mean by space, that means the physical group of objects, like such as the library space, or the time, the topic using brief stories or group of two groups or stages of your life. Importance focuses on the topic using groups that are clearly less and or dramatic. And what I mean by more dramatic, it's something like dangerous weather or thunderstorm, blizzard, tornado. That's more nonfiction. And it could be fiction, depends on how a person look at it perspective. But if you look at it non-fiction perspective, they'll pertain to like natural disasters and things of that nature. Depends on what the person or what you would like to write about. But I think it's very, very important to consider and from the beginning what type of book you would like to write. That's most important. And when you figure out, when you determine it, make sure you stick with that if you can. Now, if you want to change your mind, it's your choice. But it's always good to stick with from the beginning, because you do not want to frustrate yourself. And it's not that you cannot do the work, but you don't want to delay your project. That's important. You want to make sure you stay on task and stay on time with your project. The starting point. The starting point. Using the writing process is a great starting point. Pre-writing is the first step. Process can involve brainstorming. Pre-writing involves brainstorming. And it's a very, very important part of the writing process, pre-writing. Because you know what? When you think about pre-writing, it helps you get started. It warms a person up. It warms you up. It gets you in the mood, more excited about what you're writing. It helps a person to determine what they're writing and plan out in the forefront, in the very beginning. That's why it's called pre-writing. You're writing before you start writing your actual draft. That helps you get started and helps you plan ahead. So that's a good part of your writing process. The second part I want to share with you is writing. Writing, have a plan and you're ready to write. Have a plan and you're ready to write. And when a person have a plan and is ready to write, they're ready to write. They're ready to write and they're well on their way. The third part is revising. Revising. Your story may change during this stage. Revising is when you're written, you pre-wrote, and you written. But guess what? You about to revise it. So what you wrote from the beginning, you're going to revise it. And when you revise your story, you're not changing your story completely. All you're doing is going in, you pretty much modifying. You're making some changes, some corrections. If you have to make corrections, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Because that's important to do before you actually self-publish your works. If a person does not catch any errors before they publish their book, that's great. But many times people catch those errors. They go through it before they publish it. And that's the best thing to do. Go back and check your work. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you find errors, it's okay. That's why you have to go back and check. Editing. The fourth part is editing. This is where the process can involve correction, condensation, organization, and many other modifications performed with an intention of producing a correct, consistent, accurate, and complete work. This is editing. Editing is important. It's similar to revising, but not quite. Revising means you're going back, check your grammar, things like that. But editing, you are going back to make sure it's flowing fluently. You're correcting everything. You pretty much going more. You're going harder. You're going harder. What I mean by that you really digging deep into your writing. You're making sure that your writing is on point. You're not having any small errors. You're not having no big errors either. You want to make sure everything is flowing. Everything is in place. You do not want to feel that it's not right. You want to make sure it's correct. You want to feel confident in your work. And after editing, you're going to publish your work. You're going to publishing. This is your final uploaded draft, your masterpiece. Your final uploaded draft, your masterpiece. So I'm going to say it again. Using the writing process is a great starting point. The process is pre-writing, writing, revising, editing, and publishing. That's the starting point. Publishing the manuscript of draft. Publishing the manuscript or draft. This is the final stages of your publishing. This is where you really have to be sure that your draft is intact and ready for publishing. This is considered the wrap up portion and can be a little challenging but exciting. And what I mean by a little challenging, that means you've been working so hard and you're at the point now you may feel like you're about to just. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying you feel that way, but I'm saying for some people it could feel that way. They've been writing so much and they just about ready to just publish it anyway. And that can happen to many people. But I'm gonna tell you this here. At the same time, you're gonna feel excited. You know you have your work. You know you have everything in place. You done the work, done everything you're supposed to do. Now you excited. You about to publish your final project. The semi challenge is thoroughly reading through your draft to ensure sentences are complete, not fragmented, grammar is correct, and your message or purpose is clear to readers. So as I said before, make sure your grammar is correct. Make sure everything is in place. Make sure your sentences are flowing. Make sure there's no choppy sentences, meaning make sure there's no fragments, short sentences. Make sure you have complete sentences. All that goes hand in hand. Regardless of whether it's a short book or whether it's a long book, it doesn't matter about the length of the book. Because my personal opinion, everybody has their own opinion about this. But I'm going to be honest with you. Some people look at lengths of book, but actually it's not about the length. It could be a 20-page book and it still could be good quality work. Good quality work. It depends on what a person look for. If the person want a long book, that's their choice. But quality is the main thing, the main purpose. A person should not look at page and say, "Oh, my book is 150 pages. Oh yeah, this is good. It's gonna sell," and it may sell. It's gonna sell if you put the work and time into it. It's gonna sell, but don't focus on the page number. They have people that write books, ebooks. They have people that write books that are maybe 50 pages and they're doing real well. You can't focus on the page length. Focus on the quality. Make sure everything is right. Just go through the process. But I want to also share with you. Next thing I'm going to share with you is editing the manuscript or draft. Editing the manuscript or draft. Editing your manuscript or draft is essential. This stage of writing is important because it reduces errors, increases credibility, and a clean finished product. Preparing a clean product reflects to the world that your writing is productive and reliable. And this says a lot. When a person's work is productive and reliable, that says a lot. That means a lot. It does. It means a lot. And it says a lot too. Because it's showing that a person has written their book and it making sure that it can be backed up by evidence or research, or it's just factual. Is everything about it is factual. But nonfiction is pretty much, it's like I say, nonfiction is real. Fiction is not real, but at the same time, when you're thinking that nonfiction, productive, reliable, it means it's true. It happened in real life, and it means that person can pretty much research or go back and follow up with a source, a source in that person's book, and say, I'm gonna go check out the source that she have in her references, and read more into that topic. A person never know what they may find. They don't look it up and review it and research it. And it makes it productive and reliable. But I know, like I said before, I write non-fiction books. Not that I don't want to write fiction, but maybe one day I will write a fiction book. But I must say, at the moment, I'm writing non-fiction. But if you choose to write a fiction book, that's okay. It's your choice. But as of now, I'm doing non-fiction, and I hope to encourage many more people to consider non-fiction as well. Books versus ebooks. I'm about to explain this to you because many people don't know the difference between the book and how they're different. What's the difference between the two? Books and ebooks are publisher type books. They're publishable, meaning both can be published. Books are different from ebooks. Books can be purchased online in stores and bookstores. Ebooks can be purchased online and made available online for purchase or for free. of charge. Books are beneficial whether they are hardback or paperback. Although these books are accessible online, ebooks are available immediately following making purchase of that book online. So pretty much you could buy a print book online or ebook online. The only thing that's different about these books that the print book you have to wait till they mail it to you. You have to wait till they ship to you. The ebook, you pay for your book, you get it right then. You get it right. You assess it right then and there. It's right there in your. As soon as you pay your money, you pay for your book. You click on the file, and boom, there's your book. It's in front of you. You're able to read it, and it's for you. It's your book, your copy. Electronic books. That the E stands for electronic books. It's your copy. But the only thing about electronic books, make sure you do not share them. Now, if they give you permission to share those books with somebody else, that's their choice. But many books that I've seen that's ebooks, they don't want you to pretty much buy a copy of the book and start sharing with other people. So I'm just telling you, be aware of that. Many people say, "Oh, I got this book. I can buy it. It's for me, but I can share it." Many people don't want you sharing their work. So make sure you read it and make sure before you share it, you can share it. I'm saying it because it's very important people to know that. And I want to also share with you about the books, traditional book, print books, because print books are pretty much, they're still in. I must say, many people like print books. They still prefer to buy a print book. But many people like the ebook because it's faster, it's quicker. They have Nook readers, they have the Kindle Fire, and they have the different devices they can use. But if you get a print book, it's your book. It's a hard copy. It's a hard copy book. But I'm not saying ebooks are not good. I'm not saying that ebooks are not good to get. But a person like the book, they're gonna buy the book. They're gonna buy the traditional style book, which is, I think, it should be optional. I think it's a good thing to have options. So if you like an ebook, buy your ebook. You have your copy right then. At the moment you buy it, you have to wait for no shipping, nobody to send nothing to you. But if you buy the book, print book, you have to wait maybe a few weeks or maybe a few days. Who knows how long? But you have to pay shipping. All right, writer's block. That's the part that many people do not like to talk about. Writer's block is a psychological inhibition preventing a writer from proceeding with a piece, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary 2018. Writer's block is a psychological inhibition preventing a writer from proceeding with a piece. This is the definition from Merriam-Webster Dictionary 2018. And I'm bringing this up because I'm sharing this with you because writer's block is a situation that many people are suffering from. And I'm telling you, it's so frustrating for many people. And I'm telling you, I didn't experience writer's block. I'm being honest, I really didn't. I didn't experience it like that. I don't recall having that situation, but I say this here. Many people do experience it. And so many people then gave up on their project because they have just got so frustrated and they believe that they can't move forward. And you can. And I recommend this to anybody. If you are experiencing writer's block, so stop, take a deep breath, and make sure you breathe, relax yourself. Because if you don't relax yourself, it can be really, really stressful and frustrating. It can take a toll on a person's brain, their mind, their thinking. And I'm saying this honestly because many people are frustrated because of their writing. Maybe some people write just not say they can't write, but maybe everybody just write differently. Everybody has different ways of writing. And my personal opinion, I think it's important to know what you're writing about and stick with what you like to write about. Don't write and keep changing it unless you know you have to change it, unless you know you do deeply have to change it. Because writer's block can come about when a person is flip-flopping and changing and they're not focusing on what they're writing. But to be honest with you personally, I believe that a person can overcome it. They really can if they take time and breathe and stretch and don't think so much into it. Don't think so much about it. Just take it daily, each time. Take it a little bit at a time. Don't do so much of focusing on so much the end date. You got to have an end date. That's important. That's very important to have an end date. but don't focus so much on completing it in so rapidly in a fast manner. That's why it's important to be realistic with your dates. Make sure you have a realistic end date, a realistic finishing date, execution. Execute your work. Get your work done, but don't get to the point where you're rushing it and you're beating yourself up over it. You don't want to feel that way because self-publishing your book should be fun. It should be a memorable experience, a good memorable experience, I must say. I'm going to share with you 8 steps for breaking out of writer's block. 8 steps for breaking out of writer's block. According to Brandon 2009, the following 8 steps are useful for overcoming writer's block. Step 1. Regroup and reestablish your topic or purpose of your project. Step 2. Free write. Clustering, brainstorming, such as listing. Question, such as who, what, when, where, and why. Turn the patterns of development into questions and apply them to your topic. An example: narration, description, illustration, comparison and contrast, classification, division, cause and effect, process analysis, definition or persuasion. Turn your patterns into those type of elements. Browse for ideas. Journal blog interests. Consider your audience. These are some helpful ways to break out of writer's block. And when I go back to the part that says browse for ideas, yes, you have to take time and search. Browse. Take your time and use certain keywords to help you determine what you should be using, the terminology. What should you be looking for? Journal and blogging your entries. Those are helpful ways too, because that's helping you to help you to improve your writing. Not that your writing is not on target, it's not that it's not on point, but the more you journal and blog your entries, it's helping you to keep your skills up. It's helping you to use those words or the terminology. It's helping you to learn better ways to write it. Write your sentences in a better way. Consider your audience. Know your audience. Know who your target audience is. Know who they are. Step 3. Talk to yourself on paper. And this includes writing a conversation about your writing problem or experience. Step 4. Talk to yourself out loud or speak with another person to clarify your fuzzy ideas or a more concise direction. This is important because when you talk to yourself out loud, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear your voice saying it. And when you speak to another person, you're going to have to clarify it. They're going to hear you say it, but you're going to also hear yourself saying it too. And it's more concise direction. Step 5. Read others' written works. Read others' written works. This helps to identify problems faced by other writers. This is very important too, because when you read others' written works, it's not that you trying to copy out somebody else's work. It's just giving you some better ideas. Not that you can't do your own work, because of course you can. Of course you can do what you need to do. It's okay to go and review and look at someone else's project. There's nothing wrong with that. And what I mean by looking at someone's project, you may want to go to get somebody else's book. Not that you can't copy nobody else's book. Of course you wouldn't do that. But you may look at someone else's book just to kind of get some insight. Not that you know what you're doing. Of course you know what you're doing. But it's so important to keep in mind that they have other writers like you. They're in the same category, in the same type of genre. You may be writing a nonfiction book. You may want to check out a nonfiction writer that may be writing similar books that you're writing, and that helps you to stay on task, stay on target, and stay on the topic more clearly. Step 6, you unfreeze your writing. Unfreeze your writing by producing sentences that are awkward or seem different from other writers. Do not condone the perfection syndrome, and that means do not focus on being perfect. It's important to keep this in mind. Every person has their own way of writing. And like I said before, making sure that you follow the writing process, that helps a lot. Keep that in mind because that helps a person from making mistakes, and it helps a person from making minor mistakes. It keeps them on task, keep them on point with their writing. And when you stay encouraged and you know that what you're writing is purposeful, you following your why, you go in the right direction. It's the right direction. And when you focus on your why, that helps a lot. Step 7. If you are having difficulty with a specific part of your writing project, you may want to consider start working on the parts that seem to be less challenging. For example, start writing your chapter before the introduction. Or you may consider naming your chapters prior to writing. And I know I mentioned that earlier. Writing your chapter heading before you start writing your book. It means that you will have your headings already prepared, already laid out for you. All you have to do is just fill in the missing parts, the missing pieces. And that helps a lot. Step 8. Take at least a 10-minute break to relax, regroup, or reprocess your thinking or writing plan. For example, take a trip to the kitchen, check your voicemail, check your email, or talk to a family member or friend. These are very, very helpful because that helps you to relax. It helps you to have more fun with what you're doing. You won't be so much focused. You won't be so focused on mistakes and so focus on perfection. Just be yourself, and you have more confidence in what you're doing. You have more confidence in your work. You have more confidence that you're gonna meet that end date that you have set for yourself. Self-publishing companies. Self-publishing companies. Although there are many publishing companies available to you, these are some, to name a few. I'm going to share with you a few self-publishing companies. Amazon, which is also called KDP, which is formerly CreateSpace. Right now, it's currently called KDP, formerly CreateSpace. Barnes and Noble is another type of platform you can publish your self-publishing projects on, which is you can go to bn.com, fastpencil.com. Fast Pencil is a platform you may want to consider to write your books. Christian Publishing Company, also known as ZulonPress.com. You may want to check out Lulu Publishing. That's just to name a few self-publishing companies. They have many, many out there. But the ones I just named to you are pretty much the ones that I know that are pretty much, not saying popular, but that's the most I've seen other people that I know have written books. They have went through those companies too. They chose no self-publishing platforms. My self-published works. I want to share this with you now. These are some of my self-published books, which are available on Amazon.com and other online bookstores. Fast Track to Life Coaching, which is my first book. Fast Track to Life Coaching, a practical resource. Reclamation from Life Stressors, a self-help resource. Survivors of Life Challenges, some phenomenal activists and leaders inspiring women in the future. That's just to name a few. I do have more, and you're welcome to check out my website to get to that, but I'll share more about that in a few. Self-publishing with KDP. I'm going to give you a little feedback on each one because that will help you to get started with your writing project in case you decide to go with KDP, which is through Amazon, which was formerly called CreateSpace. And KDP stands for Kindle Demand Print. Kindle Demand Print. And that means that you are publishing on demand. And this is also formerly called CreateSpace, but now it's called KDP. How do I self-publish my KDP? How do I self-publish with KDP, formerly CreateSpace? First, I want to share this with you. It says first register account on KDP.com. So if you want to start your book project immediately, if you want to start a book like right now with a platform, you're welcome to consider KDP. Or anyone you choose. But this one here's going to help you get started. You're going to first register account on KDP.com, which is with Amazon. Create your username and password. Second, you're going to input your book information. like your book title, your authors, your information about yourself, which you're the author, or if you have a sub author, you add their name too. Or in the bonus you want to add to the book title, you can add that too. You're going to add the book genre, the keywords, etc., to begin the self-publishing process. And what I mean by keywords, you may put nonfiction. If your book is about writing, you may put on there writing, publish, business. You may use those kind of keywords to help someone else to find your books easier when they search those type of headings, those type of topics. Next, begin to upload book files as a PDF, docx file, or a recommended file type. And what I mean by that, when you self-publish your works, some self-publishing companies, some self-publishing platform recommend certain types of files. You may have a PDF file, or you may have a docx file. It's going to tell you what type of file to upload. So don't be alarmed when you see those type of things. When they tell you, oh, you have to be uploaded again. It's not your project. It's just it got to be changed. Just have to change the file you're uploading. So like I said, if you see that, don't be alarmed. Just keep going, fix it, and keep going. And then select your preferred type of book cover. That's the fun part. You get a chance to choose your book cover, or if you want to have a graphic designer, that's fine too. A person that can help you create your cover, that's fine. It's your choice. But many people do have graphic designers, and some people also go on the platform and find, especially on KDP, they could choose a book cover on that particular platform. You could choose your paper, whether you want paperback or you want hardback. You choose what type of paper you would like to use. Would you want color paper? Would you like what I mean by color paper? Like color background, white paper. Would you want the off white, or would you want the plain white paper, just plain natural white, or bright white, I should say? And you can choose whether you write an ebook or are you choosing to write a book or print book. Would you like the 6x9 size book? Because pretty common you find out people with 6x9 title books, they have books that size. But some people have bigger books, depends on what kind of books they're writing. It depends on what you're looking for, but most common is 6x9. And the page colors are important because you may decide to use pictures in your book, and you may decide to have color pictures, which is nice. It's always nice to have color pictures in a book. But whichever way you choose, make sure you choose what you want, choose what you like. It makes a difference. You choose what you like and what you know what you want in your book. But I'm so glad that you tuned in today into this webinar. I'm so glad you took your time out of your busy schedule to listen to me and have me to help you with your self-published project. I am excited for you, and I know you're going to be excited once you have done your hard work, purposeful work, I should say. Once you have done it and you execute and you complete your project, you're going to be very, very excited. But I must share with you before I close this webinar. I want to tell you again, thank you for your time. And you can reach out to me on my website, giftedtoinspirelsc.com. And you can see my projects, and you can also see all my services that I provide. And you are also welcome to email me at giftedtoinspirelsc@yahoo.com if you have any questions. And you're also welcome to schedule a consultation on my website at giftedtoinspirelsc.com. There is a link you can click on and schedule a consultation. It's a free consultation. So if you have any questions concerning self-publishing, a process on writing your book, any questions you may have pertaining to your book, you are welcome to schedule a consultation with me, and I'll be glad to help you and to help you to understand the process of book writing. But as I said before, I'm so glad that you tuned in. Thank you so much for taking time and you entrusting me with this information because it's very factual, and I'm glad that you listened to what I had to say. And you're welcome to reach out to me anytime. Don't feel that you pestering because you're not pestering me. So anytime you have to email me, and I will get back with you by the end of the business day. And I look forward to hearing from you because greatness awaits you. Greatness awaits you. Thank you for tuning into my webinar. Here is the scoop on self-publishing webinar by Dr. Shenetha Ramsey, self-publishing author. Thank you again. You be blessed and good Look, much success on your writing project.